Hello guys, and welcome to my June wrap up and July TBR video. I thought I'd record in the conservatory today because I'm home alone and the weather is absolutely fantastic, and that's why I've got this colourful umbrella above me. It's not just there randomly, it's there to shade me from the sun, otherwise I will burn into a complete pulp. So for June I managed to read a whopping 10 books, which is absolutely fantastic and out of this world. I honestly did not know how I managed to do it, considering I work 5 days a week and 2 of those days I'm out in the evenings for rehearsals, and I swear there was like 1 or 2 weeks where I only read like 1 book, so I don't know how I managed to do that. It doesn't seem like I did read that much, but I did. So I'm now going to reveal to you the books I read in June. As usual, video reviews of the books will be linked around my head for you to click on, and written reviews that I wrote of the books on my blog will be linked in the description box below. So the first book that I managed to read in June was Black Helicopters by Blythe Woolston, and this book, it is quite a short book. It's quite an easy read, but it's written in a really weird way that I just could not understand it whatsoever. It confused me. It was okay, but I don't know, I didn't know what to think of it. That's why I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. Then the next book that I read in June was The Archive by Victoria Schwab. This is a favourite for all booktubers because everyone's pretty much talking about it and saying it's good, and I can understand why, because it's a really, really great storyline. It's absolutely fantastic actually, but the writing style I felt I wasn't actually used to. I'm not really comfortable with that sort of writing style. I felt I had to really, really focus on the actual story itself to understand everything that was going on. But, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. The third book that I read in June was an ebook, and it's called The Queen of Cool by Cecil Castellucci. This was actually a light, fun read. I finished it really, really quickly, and I just could not fault this book whatsoever, and I ended up giving that book 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was an e-arc by our very own Casey Hilton, and her book is called My Name is Rapunzel, and that front cover is absolutely freaking gorgeous. This is a retelling on the story Rapunzel, and it was really, really beautiful. I did really enjoy it, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was another ebook, and that is called Impossible by Komal Kant. And I was not expecting to like this book as much as I did, but I thoroughly enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. I was absolutely hooked. It's such an amazing romance story, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. And the book that I read after that was also an ebook, and here's the picture, and that is called Falling for Hadie. It's the second book that is after Impossible, and that book actually moved me so much. I was not expecting to be moved so much, honestly. I did not. I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a real awesome romance, because Komal Kant's writing style is fantastic. But yeah, absolutely, the ending just blew me away. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic, and I gave that 5 out of 5 stars too. Then I read Hereafter by Hudson. I absolutely love this front cover, and I absolutely liked this book a lot, and I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. The only thing I'd say was wrong about this book was the romance. It was a little bit unbelievable. Then I read a review book, and that was Last Chance Angel by Gutteridge, and this was actually a really, really good story, and it was such an easy read. There was some humour in it, and it was just light and fluffy and fun, and I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read another ebook called Dark Parties by Sara. I wasn't sure what I was thinking about this book whilst reading it. I didn't know if I liked it or not, so I thought I'd give it a better chance. I'll read more of it, and as I got more into it, I understood everything that was going on, and I actually kind of started to like the storyline. I thought it was really good and a little bit enjoyable, and even the ending was really good and it was sweet. And after hard thinking, I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. And the final book that I read in June was Unearthly by Cynthia. And oh my gosh, this book was so amazing and fantastic. Literally only just recently finished this, and it blew me away. It was just amazing, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. So those were the books that I read in June. Now let's move on to my TBR for July. So I've now relocated to my book cupboard because my nan came home from my aunt's, and it was kind of awkward and stuff, so that's why I'm in this room now. But this is where I'm going to reveal to you the books that I plan on reading in July. There are 3 definite books that I will be reading in July, and the first book is The Hunt by Andrew Fukuda. This is the book club book that me and Greg have chosen to read for our first month of our new book club. The second book that I'm definitely going to be reading this month is a library book that I picked just a few days ago, and that is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. And I've heard so many great things about this book. I'm super pumped about it. It's been recommended to me by a few booktubers, and now I'm really excited to get to it, and hopefully I do enjoy it as much as they have, otherwise that would just be pretty awkward. And the last book that I definitely will be reading this month is not just because of the movie, but because I've been super pumped to read it lately, and that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, because literally most booktubers have, but I'm looking forward to reading this book, and I get the feeling I'm going to absolutely enjoy this. So those are the 3 definite books that I will be reading. Now I'm just going to completely rely on my TBR jars, and speaking of TBR jars, I'm just going to quickly update you on them all because I've gained a few new TBR jars and stuff. So my A to Z reading challenge books are still in the same plastic bowl because I quite like the idea of having a plastic bowl. My book series and standalone books are my physical books, which you can see behind me and stuff. They are all listed in this glass jar here. They were originally in a glass pickle jar, but they ended up smelling of pickles, and I was just like, no, they're going in a clean one. So they're now in this jar. My review books are now in a glass jar. They were originally in a pick and mix cup, so they're in this one now. And the new one that I have gained is for my library books. So my library books are now in that own little jar now. So those are my TBR jar updates, and I'm going to pick some books from them. So I had a long hard think of how many books to pick from each one of them, and I decided this time to pick just 1 book from my A to Z reading challenge bowl. Last time I picked just 2. So I'm now going to pick one. To make it short and sweet, I'll go with this one. And I picked Ultra Violet. There you go. I believe it's just behind it somewhere. There it is. Ultra Violet by RJ Anderson. I've only had this book for like a few months or something, but it does sound really great. So that's my A to Z reading challenge book that I picked out. I'm now going to move on to library books because I've already got a library book on this month's TBR already. I'll pick 2. Let's be generous. The first book I picked, Skin Deep, and there we go, Skin Deep by Lord Drat. This is like a romancy sort of book. Love it. Let's pick another library book. No Such Thing as Forever. And I'll show you that now. That's this one here. No Such Thing as Forever. And this is by Ali Cronin. It's another romancy sort of book. So I've got 2 library romance books that I picked out of my library TBR jar. I will now move on to review books. I'm going to pick 3 from this jar. I have real good rummage. Let's go with this one. Oh, they're all jumping at me. Oh, The Edge of Nether. The Edge of Nether. I'm so excited this one came out because I've been really wanting to read this book so badly. There it is. Okay. The Edge of Nether, and this is by J.A. Bradmersky. This is like a new adult novel, but I've heard so many great things about this, and I'm super excited to read this. So that is review book number 1. The Madman's Daughter. This is another physical book that I own, and there is. Bear with me 1 second. Ooh. Ooh. There it is, The Madman's Daughter. This is by Megan Shepherd. So that's review book number 2. Insignia. That one. And that's this one, Insignia by S.J. Kincaid. So those are the 3 review books that I picked from my review book jar. I'm now going to move on to my own physical copies of series and standalones, and I'll pick just 2 from this one. The Summoning Got it. I got it. The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong. That's the one I chose there. Let's pick another. Oh wow, I got a classic. Pride and Prejudice. Where did I put that? Oh my gosh, it had to be at the bottom of the pile, didn't it? Oh. I got it. There it is. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This one has got like a little thing inside by Meg Cabot, like why you should read this. But I haven't never actually read this book before, so at least I'll get around to it because I've had it for quite a while. So there you have it. Those are the books that I'll be reading in July. I'll just quickly recap with you. I've got Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong. Those are the physical books that I own that I'll be reading. Then I've got Ultraviolet by Ade Anderson. That's for my A to Z reading challenge. Review book wise, I have got Insignia by S.J. Kincaid, The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd, and The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmersky. Library books, I have got Skin Deep by Laura Jarrett, and No Such Thing as Forever by Ali Cronin, as well as The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. Book Club, I've got The Hunt by Andrew Fukuda, and then lastly I have got City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. So all in all I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 books for this month. I'm not sure if I will get to read them all, but if I manage to read 10 for June, then who knows what's going to happen in July. So those are my books for my TBR pickings and my wrap up previously. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment box below any thoughts and stuff. Give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. And the final book that I read in June was Hereafter